tacos and geeks, keep it real, no doubt. From the couch to your screen with a word of mouth. Anime, movies, TV, we got the scoop. Join the review crew, come and be part of the loop. Go.
Welcome to tacosandgeeks.com reviews. Justin and Sean here, back with more My Adventures with Superman Season 2. This one is Episode 7, which is entitled Ocean's 11. Once again, thank you to Warner Brothers and Adult Swim for the screener. As always, we give you a brief synopsis of the show, so without further ado, here we go. Lois and Jimmy recruit mercenaries and a mad scientist to help them steal a spaceship out from under the nose of Task Force X. And this one, I will say this, this is a complete filler episode. Wasn't a big fan of this particular episode, but it's definitely a plot device episode to move the plot forward, to get our characters to a certain location, or to set the pieces of where things are going to be heading. So definitely a filler episode. And for those who want to know whether Lois and Jimmy can carry an episode without Superman, yeah, they can. They definitely can carry an episode. But for me, this particular episode, you're going to feel, for me, it felt like a filler episode because just the way the plot was, the way things were handled, you can tell just like, okay, the things that we were setting up last week, we kind of took a break from that to get Lois, Jimmy, and the plot to where we need to get to move it forward, to get it there. And for the most part, it does work, but just for me, for this particular time, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe because it did kind of feel like so much of a filler. Maybe it was just the way the plot was of them just kind of having like just, it's kind of their own Ocean's 11 type of episode. That's why it's called Ocean's 11, of them trying to steal this rocket ship to go and find out where Clark is. So I'm going to pass it to Sean, and then he's going to give his 2 cents on what you think, man. What do you think about this one?
I mean, you're absolutely right. This is a filler episode. But just because it's a filler episode doesn't mean it's not a good filler episode. Because the thing is, like, when last week when we saw it off camera, we were like, yo, this must be the League of Lois's that showed up in the spaceship. So, figuring this is the only way they could get to space. The one thing about this episode answers that question. Well, how did Jimmy and Lois get to space to come find Superman? So, although it's a filler episode, I think it's a filler because the last 6 episodes before this were just pushing the storyline, nonstop action, really good. That's what really made those episodes really good. This episode really did just focus on, well, how did they get to space? And they did a really good job in this filler episode showing you how they got there. And it's hilarious. It's well thought out. And they call back some characters that you saw in season 1. And you were probably curious about what happened to in season 1. And that was good for the episode. Try not to say too much because even though it's a filler episode, and some people might hear that and say, okay, well, I can skip it because it doesn't really go with the main plot. You should watch it because it does push the plot along, and it really carries into can Lois and Jimmy function without Superman, and they can. And they pull off a wonderful heist that you get a lot of surprises in the middle and end, and not spoiling anything, it turns into a true love story at the end, and you'll see why when you get there. But one of the things I was what I really liked about it was Lex in this episode, because you can see in this episode there's some animosity between Deathstroke and Lex throughout. Like, there's a power struggle going on there, and you'll see they'll get to something towards the end, a little banter between the both of them at the end that you'll understand, like, there's definitely been something brewing under there between them. But overall, like, the episode was really done well. This is, again, they're giving you good examples of how I think they should do filler episodes. Because this one, I didn't feel like, I wasn't bored during it. Justin might have been. That's why he wasn't really into it. I thought it was good. It was one of those while I was doing something while I was watching it, and still got the entire point of the episode, and it was still good for me. So far, they haven't had a miss, and I'm fine exactly for where they are in this episode.
Yeah, so this is probably the first time in a long time me and Sean actually have different type of distant agreements or views on a particular show. This particular episode, I would say, was the weakest one for me. I did like, as Sean said, Lex. This particular iteration of Lex Luthor is going to rival Clancy Brown's Superman TAS. He's creeping up there because he is really becoming this narcissist that we all know and love about Lex Luthor. Him and this Deathstroke and their dynamic of this power struggle and basically trying to who's going to be in Amanda Waller's favor, I think was kind of really the highlight of it. And there are, like Sean said, there are some surprises here when it comes to Superman's Rogues Gallery, characters from the previous seasons that return and things like that to help out Jimmy. And I just felt that, I don't know, like the theme is like kind of like Sean said, it's kind of like a love story, the power of love. And it works. But like I said, this episode for me just felt like the plot device is like, okay, we've given you 6 banger episodes. We gotta cool it down because 8, 9, and 10 are probably gonna be like, oh my god, holy S type of moments. So we gotta cool it down a bit. We gotta tell you at least how did they get from point A to point B. So it just basically moves the plot forward. The way they did this particular episode, like I said, it does the Ocean 11 type of concept and heist. There's a heist, so Jimmy recruits mercenaries and people that you don't expect to actually help them, and they have ulterior motives and things like that. But for me, I don't know. It just kind of felt I felt the filler in this particular episode. It's like watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z or an anime where you're just like, all right, this is clearly the filler episode. But my hope is obviously now the main focus will be back on the main plot, which was obviously Superman, Kara, and of course what we saw at the ending of last week's episode is how they got into space. Like Sean said, this is basically the story of how they got into this space here. They did, like, it is not a bad filler episode. It's just, for me, something was it just felt like, yeah, this is definitely a filler for me. So that's why it really just didn't work for me.
I think you summed it up well. I think you did it well. That's like I said, this is gonna be a short review because it was pretty much a short episode. The episode really felt like it started and then it ended in seconds. So this will be a good episode for you to just sit back, relax, enjoy it, and take a break from the storyline. So again, give it a thumbs up episode. That's how it is.
And this has been our review of My Adventures with Superman Season 2, Episode 7, Ocean's 11. What did you think of the episode? Did you like it? Or did you thought it was eh? Comment below, let us know. If you like what we do here on otakusgeeks.com, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Helps out the algorithm if you're watching this on YouTube. Check out our Tribeca Film Festival coverage. UWL's returning next month, or in time of this review. We'll be coming back sometime in July, early August, so stay tuned for that. More essential anime, manga, essential comics. We're about to be going back to filming all those. Top 10's returning as well. So stay tuned and keep it locked here. We got con coverage coming in our summer season at Anime NYC, I believe we're going to. So
we have the toy. We have Sweet Sweet coming up. Yes. Toys are coming in.
Yes, we got a whole bunch of stuff on the way. So keep it locked here on otakusgeeks.com, the YouTube channel, and the website. Later days.
Peace.